Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to create a custom plugin for Bernard Board. As you can see, I've got an instance of Bernard Board running in my browser here, and I want to draw your attention to the config window, button over here to the left. It says add new item. I'm going to click that, and Bernard's going to bring up a box. This box is going to contain a form. At the top of the form we can select from a list of plugins. Now these plugins are all readily available with Bernard. They're the default plugins that we ship with at the moment. There should be more soonish, but for now, let's just take a look at these. What I want to do is I want to create a new plugin for the board. And let's just start off with our favorite waste of time. Right, and give it a refresh rate. Right, so these four fields, title, width, height, and refresh rate, are going to become very familiar to you because these are the four fields that every plugin in Bernard needs for it to actually work. Right? They're mostly self-explanatory. The refresh rate is just basically how often the plugin is going to refresh, be that with an Ajax call or whatever funky jazz you want to do. And yeah, the RSS URL is the one unique to this specific item. Okay, I'm gonna go get created, and there we go. This is the second part I want to draw your attention to. This is the actual partial that is going to display the contents of our items on the board. Okay, as you can see, it is flipping through, and yeah, it's going through the list of the entries on the RSS field for Bernard, right? So we're going to head over to our terminal, and we are going to create a very simple plugin. We're going to call it text, and all it's going to do is display a single line of text on the board that we can resize, move around, and do all that kind of cool stuff with. Right? So we start off running script generate, creating a new board plugin, and we're going to call it text. Let me give it a second. There we go. Okay, so all your plugins are going to create this new directory. In this case, we have Bernard text. This is the plugin directory inside vendor plugins. All your plugins are going to be prefixed by Bernard _ followed by the name of the plugin. Okay, let's go take a look at that directory. Cool. Alright. So, the contents of this directory isn't that important right now. The only thing we care about is the lib directory. The rest of it, if you mosey over to the wiki page that I created on Bernard's GitHub account, you can check it out. I explain it in more detail. And if you play around creating your own plugins and you take a look at the other plugins that already ship with Bernard, it should become very clear to you very quickly. Okay, let's take a look at lib. Okay, now this is the meat of your plugins, right? We have JavaScript, style sheets, and views. We also have the text RB. Again, this is explained in more depth on the wiki page, but since I mentioned the two very important parts of each plugin, the form and the actual display partial, that's what we're going to be focusing right now. Okay, let's go into views. You'll see the two partials. We have the form partial over here, and we have the display partial over there. Okay, don't have to worry about creating these files. Bernard will do it for you when you run script generate. So let's start with the form. Okay. If you take a look over here, you'll see the four fields that I said are the default fields, right? That needs to be included in all your plugins, and we're going to add a new one, and we're just going to call it text to display, which, well, is going to display the text we want to display. We're going to create a new text field, and we're going to call it text, and we're going to put a break in there just to make everything look pretty. Okay? Right. Since it's an application written in Ruby on Rails, everything you see now should be very familiar to you because this is just a load of Rails. Fantastic. Alright. Now we're going to take a look at the text partial, right? Okay. So this is the standard partial that gets generated for you. It has a div displaying the title, and it has a div displaying the content. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the text that we are going to get from the form, and we're going to display it here. Okay, you'll notice I refer to the variable parameters here. Anything that you create in the form, you can access in the display partial by referencing parameters. Also, just note that the element inside that variable we refer to with the string syntax and not with the simple syntax. Okay, so that's basically it. What we're going to do now is we're going to run a array command for text, and we're going to sync it. Basically, this just takes all the files that you created and edited and puts them in the right place so Bernard can add it to its board. Alright, there we go. Job done. We're going to refresh our board. And now when we look at add new items, we'll see text. It's over there. Cool. I've got 4 base fields here and a new one. Let's go ahead and call this message for Bernard. Give it a standard starting size. We say we're going to refresh it every 200 seconds, and we're going to say hello world, like we always do. Great, and there we go. Hardly any effort, and we have our very own plugin. Very simple. Now, just to go back to the lib directory, if we take a look here, we also have access to style sheets and JavaScripts, and the style sheets and JavaScripts are specific for each plugin. So if you want to put some really sexy jQuery styling on your plugin, this is where your CSS will go. If you want to do all kinds of crazy JavaScript in our plugin, that's where that will go. But when you take a look at the JavaScript file that we'll create, you'll see a function called validate text. Now, Bernard generates this for each plugin. It's very important for us to be able to validate the information that we put into the file. Into the image item. And admittedly, at the moment, it's not doing much. It's just returning true. And while it's returning true, any garbage we put in there will validate. So I just want to show you an example of how to add some JavaScript magic to your item. All right. So basically, what we're going to validate is we're going to check if the text field actually contains any information. So let's take a shot at that. I'm just going to refer to it with jQuery function. Right. Go. We're going to check its value, and if the value is empty, we're going to alert and say, no, you bad. And we're going to return false. Okay. Going to run array command again. Just to note, every time you make a change inside the vendor plugins, your plugin name directory, like we change anything in the form or the display or in the JavaScript, we have to run this again. Rake text sync. Okay. Just do a reload. Add new item. We're going to add text again. Let's call this one foo. Give it a size. Give it a refresh rate. And we're not going to enter any text. Hit create. No, you bad. Alright. So form validation is also very easy. Let's just give Bernard here something sane. There we go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this short little screencast of how to create plugins with Bernard board. If you have any further questions, my email address is on the wiki page for Bernard.